I'm going to show you how to make a Jeopardy game in PowerPoint. So we're going to create a Jeopardy game using PowerPoint, and our finished product will have 14 slides altogether. So the first thing we need to do is start PowerPoint and create a blank presentation. So I'm going to just click blank presentation here. And then you can apply it a design theme of your choice. So if you go to the design tab, you can pick, whatever you want to, and you can always change it later as well too if you find out while you're working through this that it maybe doesn't work as good as you want to. And then I'm going to change the variant here. Okay, the next thing we need to do is our first slide. We need to have the title and content layout, which it already will have for us. And the title needs to be the title of your Jeopardy game. So like an example would be Jeopardy or Animal Jeopardy if you're going to have a theme. So like say your Jeopardy game is going to be all about movies, you could have your title be Movie Jeopardy. And then the subtitle needs your first and last name and then also the date. So I'm just going to call mine Jeopardy just to make it easy for this here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in my first and last name. I'm going to do enter, and then I will do the date as well. So my first slide is done. Pretty simple here to get your first one. And you can come back and change the title too if you know it's going to have a theme later, but this would be totally acceptable. The next step we need to do is we need to create a new slide with a blank layout, and we are going to draw 16 rectangles on the slide and align and distribute them so they are evenly spaced across the slide. So I'm going to go back to my Home tab. I'm going to click the new slide list arrow, and I want to have a blank slide. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw my rectangles. You can do this two ways. Basically, you can do it on the Insert tab or on the Home tab in the Drawing group. So I'm going to click the rounded rectangle, and I'm just going to draw one. So I need to have 16 across, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these. You can Control-C, Control-V, and do it that way. I'm going to hold down Control and click and drag to create my copies. And now what I notice here is I could maybe have them a little bit bigger. So if I hold down Shift and click all of them so they're selected, I can make them a little larger if I want to. Now I'm going to put the left one where I want it. I like the space I have here. And the right one where I want it to. That looks pretty good. I like the amount of space I have in each side of my slides. Or of my, not my slides, excuse me, my rectangles. And I'm going to hold down Shift and select all of these rectangles. Then I am going to go in the Drawing group. You can also do this in the Shape Format tab. But I'm going to do it in my Home tab. In the Drawing group, I'm going to click Arrange. And then I'm going to point to Align. And then I want to distribute horizontally. And what that will do is it will provide the same amount of space between each of the shapes. And it'll move it there perfect for me right there. So I have my first row done. I need 16 shapes, so I basically need 3 more rows of 4. So if I click each one and hold down Shift so they're all selected, I can go ahead and copy them, and then copy again, and copy again. And voila, I have all my shapes here. Now, they look pretty good to me, but I could also check and distribute them vertically as well. So in my Drawing group, if I click Arrange and then point to Align and then distribute vertically, they actually didn't move. So I'm good, but that is also an option. You can see it just looks really pleasing to the eye to look at this when they're all the same. Now another thing I'm going to do, and this is just something I like to do, is I want to change the colors to my shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a second and come back when I'm done. This is what I decided to do. What you decide to do is going to be totally up to you. I just like this look for myself. Now on each of these top squares we need to go ahead and type in a different category. So for this one here, I'm going to do like some TV shows I like. So I like The Walking Dead. So I'm going to type The Walking Dead in here. And then going underneath, we need to have dollar amounts for each of these. And they need to start in a smaller amount and then get larger as you work your way down. You can do whatever numeric value that you would like. I'm just going to keep it simple, but I've had kids do like some outrageous prices. So we're not drawing text boxes on these. We are just clicking the shape and starting to type, and it'll go on there for you. So we're going to create categories for the rest of these as well too. So I'm going to call this one the office, and they will all have the same numeric value assigned to these rectangles going across. So you can see my first one was 100, 200, 300. My next one will be 100, 200, 300, and so on. And then we'll do it for the rest of these as well. So I have all my categories, and then I have my dollar amounts. Another thing I did is I also increased the size, which you can do by, actually the easiest way is if you hold down Shift and select all of them. You can do that in the font group and change the size altogether rather than highlighting all of your text. Okay, so next we need to put in our 12 slides, which will bring us to our 14 slide total. And these slides need to have our questions and our answer. So I'm going to click the new slide list arrow, and you can use whatever type of layout that works well for you. So title and content might be a good one. Another one might be section header. It really just depends on your theme and what you want to do. So what I'm going to do on this one here, this will have our question and our answer. So my first category is The Walking Dead for $100. So I'm going to type that in here. And I'm going to make up my question. Oh, I gotta think of the question now. Who is Rick's son? That's what I'll do. So I'm going to put my question here. I'm going to format this so it's a little bit different. 36. And then I'm going to type in my name for my answer, which is a name, Carl. So who is Rick's son is the question. Carl is the answer. All of our question and answer slides will look the same. Now, one more thing we have to do is that we will also need to apply an animation so that we hide the answer when we go to the slide. So Carl is the answer for me. So what we need to do is go to the Animations tab, and we need to apply a type of animation for entrance. And whatever one you do is really up to you. So maybe I'll do bounce on here. So that way when I view this in slideshow view, it'll only show the question, and then it will show the answer after we click. Now another thing we need to do on slide 3 is we need to put in a shape that will link us back to our second slide. So if we go to the Insert tab, and then I'm going to find a shape here, and I want a shape that's going to bring me back to the second slide. Oh, let's see. Sometimes like a little arrow shape works good, and you could do something else if you find one that works better. So I'm going to click one, let's see. I'll do this here, and then I'm going to draw this just in my bottom corner. And you can put it really wherever on your slide. The reason we have to do this is because we want to be able to go back to the second slide without having to use like our arrow keys or typing in 2 and then enter when you're in slideshow view. And if we do this all on slide 3, we can duplicate the slide and it will save us a lot of time. So to put in our link, to get it so we click this arrow and it goes to slide 2, we will go to the Insert tab, click the Link button in the Links group, and then on the left side where it says Link to, we will click Place in this document, and we want to bring us to slide 2, and then click OK. So if you try yours out in slideshow view, you'll see what will happen when you click that arrow. It'll bring you back to slide 2. So doing all this is going to save us a lot of time. I'd rather do all this work on one slide than on 12 individual slides. And you can do it that way, but this will save you some time. So what I have is on my slide here, I have my question, I have my answer that's appearing later with an entrance animation, and I also have my little shape in the corner, which is a hyperlink that will bring us to slide 2. Now rather than redoing all this work again, what you should do is right-click your slide 3 thumbnail in the slides pane on the left side, and then we want to click Duplicate Slide. That's going to basically just create a copy of that same slide. And all we need to do is change the answer and the question. So this will be for The Walking Dead for 200. I find it easier if you put your questions in the same order that they're listed on slide 2 when we do our links later. So for this one here, I'm going to change my question, and I am going to change it to Let's see. Where does Maggie live? Which currently she is not on the show, but she is coming back. I'm also going to change this to stop auto-fitting this text. And then I'm going to type in my answer. Oops. Hilltop. So this will already have our animation applied to it. And you can go ahead and check that out too if you want to in slideshow view. And then it also has the shape, which will hyperlink, which will bring us back to slide 2 so we can pick another question and keep going that way. So you're going to duplicate these answer and question slides so that you have one for every category. So you will have, for me, I would have 3 for Walking Dead, 3 for The Office, 3 for Paw Patrol, 3 for Peppa Pig, which will give us a total of 12 question and answer slides. Once you finish all of that, we need to create our links on the second slide that will bring us to the corresponding questions. We want to make sure we select the shape itself and not the text for that shape. So I'm going to click the rectangle for the Walking Dead 100, and I am going to go to the Insert tab. In the Links group, I will click the Link button, and I need this to link to my third slide. So I will double click 3 for Carl. Now my next one, which is the Walking Dead 200, I'm going to select that shape. I will click the link button in the links group, and this question is my slide 4. So I'll go ahead, my slide titles here, I'll have 4 selected, and then I will click OK. And you'll go through and you will link all of your shapes that have the dollar amounts in them. Another thing we should do is apply transitions to all of our slides. Whatever one you would like to use is really up to you. We don't want it to be too long, but I'm just going to click this one. I'm going to make this just a little bit shorter for duration and apply to all. What you should do when you're done is view this in slideshow view and check to make sure that your links work and making sure that they go to the right one. Sometimes an error that I see is people just have their rectangles linked to the wrong slides. So you just have to check that out and make sure they are all working. And then you're done. You have a fun Jeopardy game that you can play with others. Once you have one created, it's easy to go in and just change your categories and the questions and answers because all the hard work of creating the links and the slides and formatting has been done already. So your Jeopardy game is done. If you have any questions, just let me know and I will help you out.